What's going on, everybody? It's Matthew Lapolis here with Lips, Puck, and Chirps, here for another video, this time discussing the physicality in the NHL and if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We've noticed a lot of, lately, the last couple of games, there's been a lot of physical play, a lot of chippiness really throughout the whole season. Obviously, early in the season, I know everybody's charged up and ready to go, but there were a couple of games recently in the last couple of days that really I want to talk about if this physicality is really good for the league, is it bad for the league, or is it really kind of indifferent? So, starting with Florida and Buffalo. So, Florida, what else is new? Everybody knows that some call them physical, some call them dirty, but fact of the matter is, you're going to have to bring your A game, bring your grit game when you play Florida. But this time, I feel like it wasn't them that instigated it. So the play happened as Rasmus Dahlin was cross-checking Brad Marchand in the back. And anybody that knows Brad Marchand from Boston and now Florida, he's not one to shy away from confrontation and chippiness and whatnot. But this time he got legitimately cross-checked. That wasn't called. So Marchand took it into his own hands, got Dahlin back, buried him, tried to throw a couple punches, took his helmet into the penalty box, and ripped the straps right off it, and really showed that he wasn't going to take any of that. Now, Florida's a team that's obviously dealing with injuries. That's their style of play, and they're struggling. So I think there was a little bit of frustration in the fact that they were struggling. But in this instance, I feel Buffalo instigated. I mean, Dahlin, he's not really a dirty player, and he did kind of cross-check him in the back. So Marchand stood up for himself, and I really have no problem with that. He got slapped with a $5,000 fine. I don't think Dahlin got fined for anything. And honestly, I think the biggest issue is the officials missed the call. And if the officials missed the call, then Marchand kind of policed it himself, and, well, now he's $5,000 poor. Next thing I want to talk about is Montreal and the New York Rangers. The Montreal Canadiens and the Rangers played a fantastic game on Saturday night. Now, a lot of people don't notice, but there was a little bit of carryover from last year as Montreal and the Rangers had a couple spouts. There was some fights, and Matt Rempe was all in the middle of it. And this time wasn't Matt Rempe. This time you had Sam Carrick hitting Lane Hudson, who had just signed that extension, 21-year-old kid, really obviously one of the stars on Montreal. And, well, Sam Carrick had to go and pay the price tag for it. And there was a fight that ensued right after it. Carrick held his own. And honestly, I have no problem with this. The Rangers in Montreal the last maybe 2 years, the season and last, they've really gotten chippiness with one another, and honestly, hey, I'm all for it. I think the hit on that Carrick did on Hudson was fairly clean. I don't think it was late, but you hit a star player, that's going to be the response, no matter what. And I mean, you can make an argument where you think Lane Hudson is a star or not. Nevertheless, he's one of their best young up-and-coming players, and obviously just signed a big extension. So anybody that comes within spitting distance of him really is they're gonna go right into there. There's a couple other things in that game, a little bit of chippiness there, but honestly, in this one, I don't see too much of a big deal of it. I think that it's good for the league. I think Montreal and the Rangers, they really had a kind of not really too big of a rivalry, but it is original six, and you know what? I'm all for it. And the last one I want to talk about is a little shocking. Not really shocking, but Vancouver and Washington. Not two teams that you would really expect too much chippiness from. Obviously, one's Eastern, one's Western. But Filipino, who has a litany of injury history, got absolutely decked by Tom Wilson. Just ran right over it. And Tom Wilson, another guy very similar to Brad Marchand, that has a long history of kind of, let's call it, not the best kind of plays. Some people think it's a little dirty, and hey, if you're a Washington Capitals fan, you probably love Tom Wilson. And if he was on your team, just like Brad Marchand, you probably love him too. But this instance, I'm no Tom Wilson fan, but this instance, it was a clean hit. And I think there needs to be more repercussions on clean hits. I think both the Carrick hit and the Tom Wilson hit, they were totally clean hits. I think the NHL has to step in, and I think they have to do something about when guys are confronting their, even if it's a star player getting hit and you're instigating and you're starting a fight, there should be a penalty for that. If it's a clean hit, it's a clean hit. Now, obviously, if it's dirty, it could be hard. This is a hard game. There's guys who are 200 pounds going 20 plus miles per hour. You're going to get hit hard every once in a while. But the more I see, the more I see these clean hits that guys are jumping in and dropping the gloves right for, star player or not. I mean, I can't really get behind that. I think there should be an additional minor penalty for instigating on those instances, and sometimes they call it and sometimes they don't. It's such a real gray area. But overall, this physicality I think is very good for the league. I think it's a good way to get excited. I think it gets a lot of new fans into it because I think there's no other sport that really polices themselves like the NHL. And they have tried to cut back a little bit, but there's really no other sport that polices themselves like the National Hockey League, where, hey, you hit one of my guys, I'm going to go get you. And there's going to be receipts and whatnot like that. So, all in all, I like what's going on here. And I think it's good for the NHL. And I think having a physical league, a hard checking league, I know other people would argue, well, it might lead to more injuries. But I think having a game where you got to keep your head on a swivel and you have to play hard all the time and you can't really coast, I think that's good. I think that's very good for the league, and I think that's the best way to boost rating. So let me know what you guys think. If you agree with what I'm saying, just drop a like. If you disagree, drop a comment, and I'll see you next time.